Hey guys, so I'm here with TheKiest, the head TO of the Ohio FGC. How are you today?
Good. You might get flack for the Ohio part, but
Wait, why? Tell me the lore.
Well, Ohio is we have a lot of great TOs that run events everywhere, and I don't run those events, so, it's hard to say I've had Ohio one, so.
Well, we're still in Ohio, so we're gonna claim you just for this one time. Okay, so tell me, how long have you been TOing?
I started TOing on May 10th of 2008. When Super Smash Bros. Brawl being my first tournament I ran.
That's amazing. So tell me, how long has Donato's Fight Night been around?
And then Donato's Fight Night, I don't remember the date, but sometime in the spring of 2012 is when the Columbus FGC changed to here. We were at a different place called Momo's, which is where our major season speeding was for those old heads watching this. We had that as our weekly venue for a while until that place sold, and then one of our players by the name of, forget his tag, but Travis, he was an employee here and he got us Donato's back then, and we've been there since.
That's awesome. Travis, if you're listening, thank you. So, gosh, 2008, so that's a very long time.
It is.
So tell me, what drives you to do this job, like to do the tournament organizing,
Yeah, so I think everyone kind of has a purpose in life. Mine has always been to just bring people together. I love video games. I love competitive games. I've always been like that when I was a kid and stuff. So fighting games was kind of perfect for that. So that's kind of my main thing. It's like anytime you run an event and someone who's never experienced it before, you think back to your first time going to one of these and how that changes everything. Yeah. I like being that gatekeep, the gates to that. Not gatekeeper, almost said gatekeeper, that would be bad. Just being the gate to that thing, being the hand that lets you in, and that's our responsibility as organizers and stuff, and I love it. And it's amazing to see how, again, starting in 2008, people are still doing this and stuff, and it's crazy.
Yeah. So there's a lot of discourse in the online community in terms of TOing and TOs and how competitors and different people see tournament organizers, and a lot of them claim it to be a thankless job. Would you agree?
I get what they're getting at. I'm blessed with a scene that thanks me frequently, to the point where I'm still caught off guard where someone says, thank you for running the event at the end of the night, and it still makes my day and stuff. But at the same time, the sad truth about the personality type that kind of likes to play video games, it's all about what are things I have control of? And when you're in that game world and you're playing a single player game or even a multiplayer game, it's you're in charge of everything you're doing. And then once you're kind of going to an event and you're not really empathizing or putting your feet into other people's shoes and stuff, you're not really seeing the work that goes into it. So I kind of get why the players might miss some of that stuff, and I also get why the tournament organizers like myself miss what top players are going through with their preparation stuff. And I think the bridge, we have to create the bridge between that. It kind of start, we're all humans at the same time, we're all gamers at the same time, and we love these games, and we just kind of want what's best for the scene and stuff. So definitely thankless, but I think another part of our TO side is if we're more transparent and we communicate more with our locals, that kind of gets more people to step up and stuff. And that's kind of my advice to those who see it as thankless. Don't hide behind the curtain, kind of go out and talk about it more, I guess.
Yeah, I could definitely say being a competitor for 8 years, you kind of, the TOs are kind of in the background, you know what I mean? So it's just okay, this person's gonna call my match and then I'm gonna go play and then that's it. And then until you actually, like you said, empathize with those people, it's you don't really know what they're going through as well. It could be just as much preparation as if you were preparing for a matchup or something like that in the game. And that's the other thing too is, when it comes to being a TO, you have to be a people person and you have to be able to talk to different personalities. And it's if you're a competitor, okay, I need to learn this matchup, I need to do this. For people and personalities, it's a million different things. Everybody can be unique and everybody can be different in different ways. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to ask that, because it's a crazy world out there.
I'll admit that it is kind of a similar skill set in a way. While top players learn the matchups, I'm learning the personality matchups per se. a new player comes in, the biggest hurdle for a TO is getting that new player to stay, especially if they aren't the top. Because most players who come in, they're going to go 0-2 in their first event. That's just a fact. If they don't, it's kind of a rarity. And we'll address that in a second, but the point is that of those 0-2s, you get whole sorts of different personalities and stuff. So to me, that's kind of like learning the personality matchup in that regard. I guess my point is it's not as different as it seems. I've competed for a long time as well, not at the level as lots of other players, but when you still get I've done the grind at what I can do and stuff. There's a lot of similarities, actually, especially when at the top echelon, you're no longer just playing the character, you're playing against the player as well. So you already have to kind of get into psychology a bit, and once you're doing that, you can already do that for the event running, I think, too, and stuff.
So tell me about some upcoming plans that you have in terms of TOing in this region.
So my personal issue is I've lost my pulse with the scene, and this kind of goes back to why I want to consider myself an Ohio TO. I get Columbus very well, but I need to go back to traveling to events as a competitor, because that, again, bridges the gap a little bit. If I go to an event as a player, I can kind of see what event is this, what atmosphere is going on. That's like the big thing is...
You do your homework.
Yeah, you're doing your homework, plus it's kind of like, it's also cross-promotion a little bit, but at the end of the day, like I'm saying, we're all one community, whether you're an organizer or a fighting game player. I need to do my part to let people know who I am again and stuff, as well as kind of like get the vibe and try to replicate that here. And then that gets people to kind of want to go to more of each other's stuff and things. Because in my opinion, it's not just the Columbus scene, Cleveland scene, Cincy scene, Ohio scene, Midwest scene, it's the fighting game scene. And especially in the age of online, and how much support we kind of give, like in the local scene, I think that can be spread out to the major scene and stuff. It's hard to put away the rest of the world getting in the way and stuff. I'm going to lightly say that instead of calling it politics or sexism, because all that are definitely big problems and stuff. But I think even starting a local scene, state level, just more interaction with that stuff. That's kind of my future goals. Doing more events and then once I get that research, go back to my usual grind of my big yearly, or my big 2 yearlies, my quarterly stuff, and then keeping the locals like this and Tuesday trials up and running and stuff.
That's quite the journey for the future, and I think we're all going to be looking forward to it because I know the community loves you and loves what you do. So my last question for you is, would you have any advice for new or existing TOs? Because, you've been around for many, many, many years, and you've been able to keep a community so close-knitted, and when you come into this place, you can really feel it. So what kind of advice would you give to new and existing TOs?
Very loaded question. I could give a college course on this, I feel, but probably the hardest thing is, especially for scenes that are not in hubs. We have a lot of great TOs in the Midwest, especially where their scenes are not in like major cities. We have some in Toledo. Back in my day, we had Springfield, Ohio was a scene. The point is, the hard part is patience. It's okay. Treat your 4-man locals the same as your 100-man tournaments. Give that same passion and respect. And as you keep cultivating that, I think events are more organic and they kind of grow that way. You start your seed. You're not going to see the sprout for a long time. You have to keep at it. You're going to get days where you might not have any entrants or you go home early because things are bad like that. If you try to rush it, add too much in, you're going to get a plant that like withers out or something like that too. So definitely the patience in that. Do what's best for your scene. This is the biggest lesson I learned as a Smash TO. Smash, for those who don't know, they have a separate rule set, and those rule sets are up against what local scenes feel, what stages should be allowed, or even what characters should be allowed. Listen to your local scene first, especially for your main meet up during the weeks and stuff. Your bigger events, do what everyone else is doing, but for your small stuff, trying to build your scene and stuff, go with what the locals want. And be patient about it.
Sounds great. I really like that metaphor that you make about, planting the seeds and you have to wait for them to grow. Sometimes you run out of fertilizer and it's gonna weep. But
that's Tekken in a nutshell if you think about it. For those who are around forever, because I started with Tekken 5 as a competitor actually before I was even TOing and stuff. And then the formula always went: new Tekken comes out, people in the state would stick with it for 9 months. And then we'd have the last 2 people there. We'd shake our hands and say, "See you at next Soul Calibur or something, or the next Tekken." And that's how it went and stuff. And that was an example of just like trying to. We didn't have the soil for it. We didn't have like
the nutrients that it needed.
Yeah, it's a lot of it has to do with the game itself, but because I do think Tekken 7's changes helped a lot with that. But on the flip side of it, we weren't united as much. It was significantly harder to even find just people in the city to play Tekken with when I was like doing that. But now it's like cakewalk because of all the resources, especially with the people making the Ohio FGC website, which I recommend every state does the same thing. Even little things like that, it just builds up a ton, and that's that structure going back to that's your that's your soil and your fertilizer going forward and so forth.
So I think we're going to have to wrap it up, but I thank you so much for your wisdom and your advice to the good people out there, especially TOs, like I said, coming up and maybe struggling out there. And with locals, struggling at this certain point of time.
Yes.
I think that advice really helps. So go ahead and let the viewers know all of your socials, where you are on social media, and where to find you.
Yeah, this is very easy. I'm TheKiest on everything. So just my tag, whether it's Discord, Steam, Twitch, YouTube. I don't stream a lot. Sometimes I'll put on TO reviews of my own events to kind of do stuff on YouTube, but I've been kind of slacks on that, honestly. So I'm not active on there all the time, but I'll respond to any DMs and stuff if you guys have questions or comments and things.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.